Hi everyone, my name is Haley and I'm going to be talking to y'all a little bit about syphilis today. So let's start off with the scientific classification. Syphilis, its scientific classification is Treponema pallidum. Syphilis is a sexually transmitted infection caused by this bacteria. As you can see in the photos that I have, it's gram-negative and it's slim, tightly coiled, spiral-shaped, flexible bacteria. The bacteria is also very mobile, and this bacteria is unable to live outside of the host for more than a few days because of its very small genome. And it also has a very small doubling time. The doubling time is greater than 30 hours. So next we have transmission, and I have a little photo up here at the top of a chancre. A chancre is a genital ulcer formed during the beginning stages of syphilis, causing little or no pain. So syphilis is transmitted from person to person by direct contact with these chancres. They're found around the mouth, vagina, anus, rectum, or any other external genital area. They start out as papules, and the papules break down into the reddish ulcer that you see in the photo. 2 or 3 of them can develop simultaneously at the point of entry. So if the point of entry for the infection is your mouth, then you will get these ulcers around your mouth. And they will heal within 3 to 4 weeks of having them, treated or not treated. And pregnant women with syphilis can also transmit the disease onto their unborn fetuses, and occasionally the disease can be transmitted by direct non-sexual contact, which is going to be things like toilet seat and stuff like that. So next I just have a photo of all the causes here. It's unprotected sex, multiple partners, men having sex with men, and mother-to-child transmission, and then HIV positive patients. So syphilis has a relationship with HIV positive patients by men with syphilis are more likely to be diagnosed with HIV in the future because the genital sores that are caused by syphilis make it easier to transmit the HIV. And in the US, about half of men who have sex with other men with syphilis were also living with HIV before they were diagnosed with syphilis. So HIV and syphilis are very common together within that. So now we have the signs and symptoms. So we have the primary stage first. It begins between 10 days to 10 weeks after the infection. It's marked by the appearance of the firm, round chancres in the photo before. Once again, they appear at the location of entrance, and they heal within 3 to 6 weeks. And they're going to be firm, round, painless, not very noticeable. And in the secondary stage, that's when the rashes begin to form. It's usually going to be on the palms of your hand or the bottom of your feet, but they can form anywhere on the body, and they can just pop up and go away. They're not itchy or anything. It's just shows up on your body, and it's going to be 4 to 8 weeks after the chancres. And it could also still be why the chancres are still healing that this starts to happen. And the secondary stage is also going to cause things like fever, sore throat, headaches, fatigue, muscle aches. It can also cause patchy hair loss, weight loss, and other things like that. And the enlargement of lymph nodes is really common. And the rough reddish brown spots are what the rashes are going to look like, and rashes of different appearance can show up on different parts of your body. I didn't put a photo of the condyloma lato, but it's large raised gray or white lesions known as the condyloma lato, and they can develop in warm or moist areas like the mouth, underarms, or the groin area. But I didn't want to put a photo of that because it was a lot nastier looking. So. And next we have the latent stage and the tertiary stage. So the latent stage is going to be, there's no visible signs or anything during this time. It's a pretty dangerous stage because if you hadn't already got or realized that you had syphilis, then it could last for years. It could just stay in your symptom, and a fourth of the people that get to the latent stage, it can progress into the next stages, which is a lot more dangerous. The latent stage is also known as just the hidden stage because of the no visible signs or symptoms. And the early latent syphilis is going to be your infection happened within the last 12 months, and then the late latent syphilis infection happened over 12 months ago. So then we have the tertiary stage, and the tertiary stage is obviously a really long time after the infection, 10 to 30 years, and it can affect a lot more serious things, obviously, like your brain, nerves, eyes, heart, and a bunch of other different organ systems. And because it can affect so many different organ systems, the symptoms are going to differ due to which organ system that it is affecting the most. At this point, it is considered non-contagious, so you can't give it to anyone else, but it can be severely fatal to you. Next, we have neurosyphilis and ocular syphilis. So both of these can start to occur at any stage of syphilis. I have a picture over here of the ocular syphilis, and you can see the ocular syphilis just starting to infect the eye here. It can lead to complete blindness, so it's obviously very serious. Neurosyphilis can also begin to take over your nervous system, and there's actually 5 different kinds of the neurosyphilis, depending on what part of the nervous system that the syphilis affects. It's very life-threatening, and it can affect your brain and your spinal cord the most. Ocular syphilis has been on the rise in the U.S. in the past couple of years, and these are obviously the most severe kinds of syphilis that you hope it just never gets to. And so to make the diagnosis, you're going to need to do some of the blood tests, and the blood tests are going to test for antibodies that your body has created to fight against the disease. And the good thing about these antibodies is that your body continues to make them for years, so that you can determine if you had the disease in the past or if you have it now, because of the antibodies that your body creates. And there's going to be 2 different non-tropomal and treponemal tests to test for these antibodies. And if the nervous system issues start to be detected, then cerebrospinal fluid is going to be needed, and it's collected through lumbar puncture. And here I just have a rate of reported cases, and it's just to show you how much the 40s and 50s, how much the cases have gone down since then, just because doctors have figured out what has healed it and figured out what it was. I just want to show that. And then I have the incidence and prevalence in the United States. So in 2018, there's a total of 35,063 cases, 10.8 cases per every 100,000 people. But the rate among men is a lot higher than in women, because the disease is a lot easier to spread between men who have sex with other men. So 18.7 per 100,000 for men, and only 3 per 100,000 for women, which is a very big difference, obviously. And then we have the treatment here. So for primary, secondary, and early latent syphilis, you're going to receive an injection of benzathine penicillin G in a single dose of 2.4 million units. And then with later syphilis, the late latent syphilis, the injections of the penicillin are up to 3 doses that are going to be spread out of 2.4 million units. And then the most serious, the neurosyphilis and ocular syphilis, they require injections of a different penicillin. It's aqueous crystalline. And it's going to be a lot, 18 to 24 units per day, 3 to 4 million units every 4 hours for 10 to 14 days. And if it's treated, it can cure it and prevent any other further damage that is already caused. The use of alternative things to penicillin is extremely limited. And obviously people that are receiving this treatment, they must abstain from sexual contact until the sores are completely healed and they are cleared of the disease. And they also have to notify all of their sexual partners, so their sexual partners can be treated as well if they need to be. And for the last, we have prevention. Obviously the use of latex condoms can reduce the risk of syphilis. A syphilis sore outside of the area covered by the latex condom is still able to allow transmission. Like if the chancres are formed around the lips and you have lip-to-lip contact, then you can get syphilis, obviously. So you can also have your partner or yourself be tested for any STDs before having any kind of sexual contact, and the best way to prevent the spread of any STD is to abstain from sexual contact unless you're in a long-term monogamous sexual relationship. And here are my resources. Thank you guys for listening to me.